Hello everyone and welcome to another IG Apps tutorial. In this tutorial we'll work on creating a wavy background for our Android app, like shown over here. To get started, we're going to go to the getwaves.io website, which allows us to create some wave designs and then download it as an SVG file. We can choose the shape of the waves that we want to have, the color, the opacity, as well as the number of waves in our design. Once you've chosen something that you like, you can click the download button to download download the wave as an SVG file. And you can see over here that it's downloaded. Now back in Android Studio, we're going to use this SVG file through vector assets. And I had a tutorial covering vector assets in the past. They basically allow us to add icons, material icons, and other SVG files into our project. So inside the resources folder, we have the drawable folder, and if you right click on drawable, you can hover over new and select new vector asset. Over here for the asset type, we're going to be adding this SVG file for the wave that we just downloaded, so we can click on local file. And for the path, this is going to be where your file is once you downloaded it. So for me, I'm going to use the wave.svg file in my downloads folder, and this is a preview of what it looks like on the right. And the name IC_wave is fine. So this allows us to create a drawable file for our SVG file. I'm going to click next and then finish. So now you can see a new file appeared over here on the left underneath the drawable folder called icwave.xml for our SVG, and here it is. So now that we have our SVG file for the wave and we have a drawable file that we can use, we can go inside the layouts folder into our activity main, and now we can use this background that we created. So what I'm going to do is over here, I am going to create a relative layout. And its width is going to match parent. I also make its height match parent. And this is what we'll set the background. We'll set the background of this relative layout to our wave. So I'll do that by saying Android background equals at drawable IC_wave, which is the drawable file for our wave background. Now you can see immediately what it's doing is it took this SVG file that we had, or it took this drawable file, which has a larger width than height, and it's trying to compress this to fit inside our device's screen. And that's why the waves are really pointed and exaggerated. So what we can do to fix this is we can go back to our icwave.xml file, and over here for the viewport width, instead of trying to fit the whole width of this wave into our device's screen, we can try fitting maybe half of that into our device's screen. So now when we come back to activity main.xml, you can see it only contains the first 1.5 waves, rather than, if I change this back to 1440, what it was originally, rather than fitting all 3 waves. So this is something that we can use to make it less pointy. And I'll go with 500 for this. So now if I come back to activity main.xml, you can see it only contains part of our wave file, and the rest is cut off. I'm going to adjust the height of this relative layout to 570 SP, that way the wave is not as tall. And now you can see it takes up a good portion of the screen. If we run this, we can take a look at what our app looks like right now. The app has launched, and you can see we have this wavy background, but we still have this action bar over here that I want to get rid of because I want the whole screen to contain just this wavy background and the white background. So to do that, we can go inside of the values folder, and there is the themes folder, and inside themes.xml, we're going to create our own style. So I'm going to type style, and I'm going to call this style app theme dot no action bar, because we want to create a style without an action bar, and then we're going to use this in our manifest file. And over here, some of the items that I'm going to provide are window action bar, and I'm going to set this to false. I'm going to have 2 more items. Another one is going to be window no title, and I'm going to set this to true. And the third one is going to be Android window full screen, and this is going to be set to true. That way that way we don't have an action bar and our app will take up the full screen. So now that we have this style, we can go inside our manifest folder and Android manifest.xml, and you can see on line 11 we have this line saying Android theme equals @style / theme.drawable backgrounds, which is the default. We're going to change this theme and use the one that we just created for our app that does not have an action bar. So it's called app theme.noActionBar. And now if we run the app, we can take a look at the difference this will make. Now the app has launched and you can see that it takes up the full screen, and we have just this nice red wavy background and this white backdrop. If you found this tutorial useful, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to be notified when future tutorials come out. Until then, happy developing from IJ Apps.